This is Access Tech Live.
Welcome back. And of course, the big Apple event is happening September 9th, which is Monday. And we're very excited here at Access Tech Live. And, you know, it's one of those events that happen. I know the geeks get excited like us, Marc, you know, and that's cool. But, you know, there is quite a lot to get excited about because, of course, this is the time of year when we find out about the new iPhones. So if you've just bought a brand new shiny iPhone in the last week, you're going to get a little bit of FOMO, right? A little bit of fear of missing out. Yeah. Keep the receipt handy. That's what I might suggest. What do you think's coming up?
Well, I mean, listen, we're definitely going to see new iPhones. This is that time of year. But there's always a speculation about what else to expect. But I think here's what we're going to see, Stephen. We're going to see a new iPhone 16 that's going to look pretty much identical to what we've had so far with the 16, the 16 Pro, 16 Pro Max. That's the expectation across the board. The inside and the software is where these differ. And what we're going to see, I think, is Apple Intelligence at its core and see what all the new features are that they haven't talked about and they didn't preview for us at the Worldwide Developers Conference. That's what I think is definitely going to be on the table, as well as I hope we're going to see some updates to Apple Intelligence on AirPods Pro and AirPods and really let them set the stage for what's to come with Apple Intelligence and make sure that their devices are all in line and we have a roadmap in place to see all these things unfold. What about you?
Yeah, I must admit, I'm a little bit skeptical on the Apple Intelligence side of things. I think the event is called It's Glow Time. They always give it a name, and really what that is just to start a whole new slew of speculation ahead of the event. Give basically tech journalists something to talk about. You know, dangling a little shiny thing in front of them to say, hey, look at this for 2 weeks ahead of the event itself. Because, let's be honest, there's no news until the event. I don't think we're going to see a huge push towards Apple Intelligence yet. I think we're going to see the beginnings of it, and it's going to grow over the year. In fact, there's some commentators already saying, don't buy the 16, wait for the iPhone 17, which, I don't know. We'll find out, of course, on Monday. For me, I'm interested in what the new iPhones have to offer. I don't know how far they're going to go with hardware and how many massive changes they're going to make. I mean, you know, a new camera, whatever. You know, I think, you know, all this stuff is so good now. You know, I think if you've got, I mean, I'm kind of joking around when I say, you know, if you've just bought an iPhone 15 Pro, you know, I think you're going to be okay, you know. It's a good device. It's going to do you for 5 years. You don't need to upgrade it for a long time, you know.
No, I agree with you, Stephen. I think it's, you know, we've gotten to this point where basically every smartphone is a piece of glass with processing power behind it, right? Yeah. And the processing power really is so powerful that the software isn't even able to you know, maximize the potential. That being said, you know, things like Apple Intelligence, it needs, you know, some of the newer chips and stuff to get in there. So it's a good reset, right? It's a good opportunity to reset and say, okay, well, the 15 supported it and supports Apple Intelligence. Now get the 16, and let's get that other stuff out of the way off the lineup so we can kind of, you know, spread the wealth here and make sure everybody has access for what's to come. But I think, you know, like you and I, because as you said, we're the nerds here, right? We're the geeks who want to get our hands on this stuff and really play with it. For the average everyday person, if you got an iPhone last week or even last year, or Stephen, I hate to even say this, but even an iPhone 13, you may not want to spend that money right now because we're looking at, you know, plus $1,000 Canadian for a new device, and really you're not going to see major differences, especially since Apple Intelligence features really aren't even going to be here until likely end of the year, early 2025. So I know a lot of people who are going to wait, like they've been doing with the iPad, wait a couple generations, and I'm wondering what your thoughts are on this. Why even... I know you want to get the spotlight, you want to get shopping in there, but does it even make sense to be releasing new phones like this every single year when there's not much that's changing for it? Why? Why are they still doing this?
I am so glad. I'm so glad you said that. I am with you on this 100%. Why do we need a new iPhone every year? I don't think we do. I would even struggle to understand why we need one every 2 years, because the hardware that's inside these devices, I mean, look at when the Google Pixel was launched. Something was kind of unveiled with the Google Pixel 8 line last year, when Google turned around and said, we can support this phone with updates for the next 7 years. And you're thinking, hang on a minute, so if this thing can be updated and is updatable for 7 years from now, why would I buy a new phone next year? And I kind of thought, that's a strange thing for Google to say. Now, of course, there will be new features and new capabilities. I mean, if you were to think back 7 years from now, AI wasn't even a thing. We didn't even think about AI inside our smartphones. So, you know, look how far things have come in the space of time. I've got to say, though, I'm looking forward to the watch. We're at Series 10. Are they going to call it the 10? Are they going to call it the X? Because they tend to, when they get to 10, call it X. So I don't know if they're going to
But do you think we're going to see it next week? I don't think we're going to see a watch this soon. Like I'm trying to remember in history. Like there's so many Apple events that it confuses me sometimes. Do we see watches at the same time of iPhones? Normally we see iPhones, AirPods. We don't normally always see a watch, do we?
I'm probably going to be entirely wrong on this, but I'm fairly sure that the watches are released at the same time. AirPods, of course. Now that's an interesting one, because I love my Apple AirPods Pro 2.
Okay.
I think, and I'll go out on a limb and say I think they're the best Apple AirPods, that type of in-ear bud that you can get. I think just the noise cancellation is incredible. The sound is excellent. I know you don't like them because they don't fit in your strange ears.
Listen, no, hang on. I like the sound quality. I think they are great performing headphones, especially when you look at the landscape of companies that put out headphones. I mean, they're definitely on the top tier with some of the big names out there, like Bowers & Wilkins and Bose and Sony.
Oh, yeah.
They're good earphones, right? But they don't fit every single ear. So unlike you, where they fit no problem, I have to use ones that have like that wingtip on it, like the Beats Fit Pro. Those are my go-to. But at least they have the features like the transparency and stuff, because Beats is now an Apple company. But I'm with you. They're good headphones, but they're still not, even though they say they're ergonomically designed for everybody. Like they're not. They don't fit in everybody's ear. I know a lot of people that they don't fit into.
Yeah, I hear this a lot, and it is a problem with them. But like you say, there are ways around that. There are ways to make it work. I do like this style of headphone. It's surprising to me because I don't often like buds. I prefer over-ear cans, as we call them, especially in the radio industry. You always call them cans. But what I'm talking about is over-ear headphones, right? Big headphones. Also, if you want to avoid people in the street, if someone comes up to you in the street and they say, hi, if you've got those big headphones on, no one will talk to you. So, that's a good reason to have them. Will we see new AirPods Max, though? Because, of course, that's the one I'm interested in.
Oh, God.
That's the one I'd love to see.
You're interested in those?
Amazing.
Really? That's so heavy on my head. My wife really wanted them. She'd like to look at them. We tried them on at Apple Store. She's like, these are heavy. And so, I'm more towards like the Beats Studio Pro, because they've got all the same features in it, but they're lighter and in my opinion, they're just a better sound quality. But no, I can't get the Max. They're heavy, man. Heavy and expensive. They're the price of an iPhone.
Well, yeah, no, that's right. That's the problem with Apple products, isn't it? You've always got the premium. I was very lucky. They came out 2 days, I think, before my birthday, whenever they came out a few years ago. And my wife came into the room and she said, I'm so glad they've come out. I can buy you something for your birthday. It's the only thing you don't have. And I was very pleased with that result.
I'm sure.
And I've still got them, and I love them. The battery isn't as good. Obviously, there's still Lightning connection on there, not USB-C. So there's lots of things to update. So that gives me a sense of why they may want to decide to upgrade these, but we shall see.
You actually just brought up the one point that I want new iPhones, is because my daughter is the only one in the house that still has a Lightning connector in anything. So we need to get her up to date. We need to start some hand-me-down cycles here. We need to get her onto the bandwagon of USB-C. And the same thing, there's still some accessories that we still have around the house that use that Lightning cable. I'm done with Lightning, Stephen. I want USB-C on absolutely everything. What about Max? Do you think we're going to see Max? This is not the time for that, right?
No, although there's a lot of rumours flying around about the Mac Mini. So the Mac Mini's been pretty much the same design since the passing of Steve Jobs. In fact, before that.
Oh wow, that long.
It's been a long time around. I mean, I want to say 14 years, which is an incredible length of time for something not to change. However, it works. It's really good. But of course, Apple's processors now are so small, so dinky, that they can fit inside a much smaller box. USB-As are apparently history. So, we're going to be moving away from that. So, it's reported anyway that it's going to be a more Apple TV-like design of the Mac Mini. And then that is going to be including like 5 USB-C ports and, HDMI and an Ethernet and all the things that are great about a Mac Mini. And possibly even, better Pro M4 processors in there. Lots of rumours. I don't think we'll see it at this event, though.
Guess what? Not much time to wait. The event is on Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And guess what? You'll have complete coverage on, of course, Double Tap, and we'll have complete coverage here on Access Tech Live next week. And hopefully we'll be going hands-on with this stuff. I don't know when exactly that cycle is going to happen, but we'll figure it out. Stephen, coming up on Access Tech Live in just a few days left for the remaining events of the Paralympics before closing ceremonies on September 8th. The 2024 Games featured 23 sports and a total of 561 events, an increase from Tokyo in 2020. And you know what, Stephen? How does tech play a role? That's a question we're going to find out. We're going to dive in after a quick break here on Access Tech Live.
There's more Access Tech Live to come. Get involved and have your say at Access Tech Live on social media. We'll be right back.